Welcome, friends! Today, I'm going to share a story that goes far beyond Hollywood and fame. It's a story about pain, hope, struggle, and survival. It is the story of a man who became one of the most famous actors in the world, not because he was perfect, but because he was beautifully broken. This is the journey of Johnny Depp, a boy from a small town who lost his way, found his soul through music and art, and faced the hardest battles in the public eye. As you listen, you will hear simple, clear English sentences that will help you improve your language skills while exploring the true story behind the man who played Captain Jack Sparrow, Edward Scissorhands, and many more unforgettable characters. So, sit back, relax, and get ready to walk with me through the highs and lows of Johnny Depp's life. This is not just a biography. It is a lesson about courage, truth, and the power to keep dreaming no matter what. Johnny Depp was born on June 9, 1963, in Owensboro, Kentucky, USA. His full name is John Christopher Depp II. He was the youngest of 4 children. Life wasn't kind to little Johnny. His family was poor. They moved from town to town so often that by the time he was 12, they had lived in over 20 different homes. Imagine being a child and never feeling at home anywhere. That was Johnny's life. He once said, "I felt like a stranger in my own house." The walls changed every year. The friends disappeared. The only thing that stayed the same was the pain. His mother, Betty Sue, worked hard as a waitress, but she was also emotionally abusive. She shouted. She was insulted. She hit. Johnny never felt safe. His father, John Depp Sr., was a quiet man, a civil engineer. He didn't fight back. One day, he simply walked away. He left the family when Johnny was just 15 years old. Johnny was forced to grow up fast. He became the man of the house, even though he was still just a kid. He described his childhood in one sentence. It was filled with violence, sadness, and silence. When Johnny was 12 years old, something happened that would change his life forever. His mother bought him a guitar. No one knew how important that gift would be. He didn't take lessons. He didn't even know how to hold it properly. But he held it tight. He sat in his room for hours, just strumming, listening, and feeling. That guitar became his best friend, his escape, and his only source of peace. While other kids played sports or watched cartoons, Johnny played music. The sound of strings was the only thing that made sense to him. Music healed the boy that the world had hurt. By the time Johnny was 16, school no longer made sense to him. He dropped out. Teachers thought he was wasting his life. But Johnny wasn't lost. He was focused. He joined a rock band called The Kids and started playing in local bars and clubs. Life was tough. He lived in tiny apartments, sometimes with no proper food, but he didn't care. Every night, he played music. Every morning, he woke up believing in a dream. "Music was everything to me," Johnny said. "It was my therapy, my world, my reason to stay alive." At age 20, Johnny married Lori Ann Allison, a makeup artist. She was 25. Their marriage lasted only 2 years, but Lori played a huge role in Johnny's journey. She introduced him to a friend who would change everything. Nicolas Cage, a rising Hollywood actor at the time. Nicolas saw something in Johnny, something raw, wild, and real. He said to him, "You have a face that tells a story. You should try acting." Johnny laughed. He didn't want to be an actor. He was a musician. He had no training and no interest in the spotlight of Hollywood. But he was also broke, and life was getting harder. So he said, "Why not?" Johnny auditioned for a low-budget horror movie called A Nightmare on Elm Street. He had no experience. He was nervous. But something about his honest eyes, his silent strength, made the director choose him. And just like that, Johnny Depp was on screen. He didn't play a big role. In fact, he got killed by a bed in one of the film's most famous horror scenes. But something started that day. Johnny felt something powerful. He realized that acting was another form of music, a way to express the pain he had kept inside. Acting was like music, he said. But instead of chords, I played with emotions. Johnny didn't act with his voice. He acted with his eyes, with silence, with vulnerability. He wasn't trying to be a movie star. He just wanted to show the world how he felt inside. And the world slowly started to notice. He began taking small roles, learning from every scene. He didn't care about money or fame. He cared about truth, emotional truth. He was a mirror of pain, joy, and broken dreams. In 1987, Johnny got a role in a TV show called 21 Jump Street. He played a young cop who goes undercover in high school. The show became a massive hit. Suddenly, girls were screaming his name. Posters with his face were in every teenager's room. But Johnny wasn't happy. "I didn't want to be a product," he said. "I wanted to be an artist." He began to feel trapped. He was becoming famous for something he didn't believe in. His soul wasn't in it. So, even though the show made him a star, Johnny walked away. Even in these early days, one thing was clear. Johnny Depp was not like other stars. He didn't want the lights. He didn't chase headlines. He just wanted peace, truth, and art. But fame had found him, and it wasn't going to let go so easily. He was just a boy with a guitar, running from pain, chasing music, and walking straight into a world that would both bless and break him. The boy with the guitar had now become a man with a face the world recognized. But Johnny Depp didn't feel like a star. Inside, he still felt like the same lost child from Kentucky. His soul was full of shadows, and now he had a spotlight on it. After his breakout role on 21 Jump Street, Johnny became an overnight sensation. He was young, handsome, and mysterious, and every magazine wanted him on the cover. But the fame was too loud. "I felt like I was being sold," Johnny said. "They wanted a heartthrob, but I wanted to be an artist." Everywhere he went, people screamed. Girls cried when they saw him. Studios pushed him to smile more, act cooler, and be more charming. But inside, Johnny was getting tired. He didn't want to be loved for his looks. He wanted to be understood for his soul. So, he made a bold choice. He quit the show, even though it was making him rich and famous. He chose the unknown path, the path of a real artist. In the early 1990s, a strange and brilliant man named Tim Burton entered Johnny's life. He was a film director with wild ideas, messy hair, and a quiet voice. When Tim met Johnny, he didn't see a TV star. He saw something deeper. He offered Johnny a role in a very unusual movie. Edward Scissorhands, a gentle boy created in a lab who had scissors instead of hands. Most actors were scared of the role. But Johnny wasn't. "Edward is me," Johnny said. "He's shy, misunderstood, and feels too much." He read the script and cried. When the movie was released in 1990, everything changed. Audiences didn't just see Johnny Depp, they felt him. He wasn't pretending. He was Edward. His pain, his loneliness, his desire to love but fear of hurting, it was all real. Johnny and Tim became lifelong friends, creating many dark and magical movies together, like Sleepy Hollow, 1999, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, 2005, Corpse Bride, 2005, Sweeney Todd, 2007, Alice in Wonderland, 2010. Together, they built worlds where weirdness was beautiful and pain was poetry. In 1989, at a movie premiere, Johnny saw Winona Ryder. She was 17. He was 26. Their eyes met, and something clicked. They fell in love quickly. Within a year, they were engaged. Johnny said, "I had never been in love before. Not like this." He tattooed Winona Forever on his arm. He held her hand on red carpets. He called her his soulmate. But fame is a heavy weight. The pressure, the public attention, their age difference. It all became too much. In 1993, they broke up. Johnny was heartbroken. He changed the tattoo to Wino Forever, a sad joke covering a real scar. "That was my first real heartbreak," he said. "It stayed with me for a long time." Johnny opened a Hollywood nightclub called the Viper Room. It was supposed to be a safe space for artists, musicians, and dreamers. But in October 1993, tragedy struck. His friend, actor River Phoenix, died of a drug overdose right outside the club. Johnny was shattered. "He was like a little brother," he said. "That night changed something in me." He closed the club for a week. He avoided the press. He isolated himself. And slowly, he sank deeper into alcohol and sadness. Music still helped, but even that started to sound like sorrow. The fame, the pressure, the heartbreak. It all added fuel to Johnny's growing addictions. He had started smoking in his teens. Now, he was drinking more. He tried drugs, but not to have fun. He did it to numb the pain. "I didn't know what I was trying to escape," he said, "but I knew it was deep." Hollywood called him troubled. The media followed his every move. He was called wild, dangerous, and mysterious. But Johnny was just trying to survive. In the mid-1990s, Johnny began dating Kate Moss, one of the world's most famous supermodels. They were both young, beautiful, and full of chaos. Their relationship was passionate, but also destructive. They laughed, cried, and sometimes fought in public. In 1994, Johnny was arrested for destroying a hotel room in New York. The room was smashed, broken glass, overturned furniture. Kate was sitting calmly on the bed. "I had a bad day," Johnny said. "I was angry. That's it." The relationship lasted 4 years. Kate later said, "Johnny was the only person who truly cared for me, but I lost him, and myself, when we ended." In 1998, Johnny met Vanessa Paradis, a French singer and actress, while filming in France. She was quiet, elegant, and unlike anyone he had ever met. They fell in love slowly, quietly. And for the first time, Johnny found peace. In 1999, they had their first child, Lily Rose Melody Depp. 3 years later, they had a son, Jack Depp. "When my daughter was born," Johnny said, "it was like my heart moved outside my body." He began to slow down. He drank less, worked less, and spent time with his family. He bought a house in the French countryside. No paparazzi, no fake parties, just quiet mornings, bread, and birdsong. "My kids saved me," he often said. Even at his peak, Johnny rejected Hollywood fame. He didn't want to live in the hills of Beverly or throw parties in the spotlight. He wanted to act, play music, paint, and be a father. But the world kept pulling him back into its drama. Johnny Depp was now a true actor, a true artist. But inside, he was still searching for something deeper than fame. He was searching for freedom. By the early 2000s, Johnny Depp had become more than just a Hollywood actor. He was a mystery, a rebel, and an artist who refused to play by the rules. The world admired his performances, but very few understood his heart. Fame followed him, but so did loneliness, confusion, and chaos. This chapter is about the wild highs and painful lows of a man trying to stay real in a world that worships fake. In 2003, Disney came to Johnny with a big offer, a pirate film. The movie was called Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. The role was Captain Jack Sparrow, but Johnny didn't want to play it like a traditional pirate. He had a strange idea. What if he's always a little drunk? What if he walks like Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones? What if he wears eyeliner and talks with his hands? The Disney executives were confused. Some were worried. Is he drunk? Is he crazy? They whispered behind closed doors. But Johnny didn't care. He trusted his instincts. When the movie came out, it was a massive hit. Jack Sparrow became one of the most iconic characters in movie history. Kids dressed like him. Adults laughed at his jokes. The world fell in love. Johnny was nominated for an Oscar and became one of the highest-paid actors in the world. Jack Sparrow gave me freedom, Johnny said. He's not perfect, but he's real, just like me. He played the character in 5 films, earning hundreds of millions of dollars. With success came wealth, and lots of it. Johnny began spending like a king. A private island in the Bahamas, 14 homes around the world, dozens of vintage cars and motorcycles, rare art wine books, and even the ashes of a friend fired from a cannon. Yes, you read that right. He spent $3 million shooting the ashes of his friend, writer Hunter S. Thompson, into the sky from a custom-built cannon. I wasn't buying things, Johnny said. I was buying moments, emotions, memories. But the truth was, money was slipping away fast. His team mismanaged funds. He trusted the wrong people. Lawsuits followed. Newspapers claimed he was going broke. Still, Johnny didn't panic. He believed that truth and art would save him again. In 2009, Johnny met actress Amber Heard on the set of The Rum Diary. She was young, beautiful, and confident. Johnny said, "I saw fire in her eyes. Something wild." After splitting from Vanessa Paradis in 2012, a relationship that had lasted 14 peaceful years, Johnny started dating Amber. In 2015, they got married in a private ceremony. At first, the world saw them as the perfect couple. Beautiful, famous, and in love. But behind the scenes, something else was happening. Something dark. There were fights, arguments, doors slammed. Accusations flew back and forth. In 2016, Amber filed for divorce and accused Johnny of domestic abuse. She appeared in court with a bruised face. Photos leaked. Headlines exploded. The world turned against Johnny. He lost fans. He lost roles. He lost friends. "I would never hurt a woman," Johnny said, but no one wanted to hear my side. He stayed silent. He didn't go to interviews. He didn't post angry videos. He just watched as everything fell apart. After the accusations, Johnny's career collapsed overnight. He was removed from Fantastic Beasts. Studios canceled projects. Advertisers stopped calling. He became a controversial figure. Tabloids called him a monster. Social media users mocked him. Even people who had worked with him stayed silent. He felt betrayed. "I was guilty until proven innocent," Johnny said. "Not the other way around." He said he felt like a ghost in the town he once ruled. With movies disappearing, Johnny turned back to what had saved him as a boy: music and art. He joined the rock band Hollywood Vampires, alongside music legends Alice Cooper and Joe Perry. Together, they went on tour across Europe. On stage, Johnny wasn't an actor. He wasn't Jack Sparrow. He was just a man with a guitar, playing music from his heart. "Music keeps me alive," he said. In his quiet moments, he began painting. He painted faces, friends, heroes, lost souls. He poured out the words he could never say with his mouth. He painted Bob Marley, Keith Richards, Hunter S. Thompson, Heath Ledger. His art became a silent scream, a prayer, and a diary all at once. One of his collections sold for $3 million in one day. But Johnny didn't care about the money. He just wanted to feel again. "Painting saved me," he said. "It gave me a way to breathe." While the world judged him, two people never turned their backs. His children, Lily Rose and Jack. He said, "More than any movie, they are my greatest creation." He wrote letters to them, played music with them, shared stories and poetry. He tried to teach them how to stay human in a world that often forgets what that means. My children saved me again. In 2023, Johnny returned to the big screen, not in a Hollywood blockbuster, but in a French film called Jean de Barry. He played King Louis XV, a quiet, distant royal, in a slow, poetic film. The movie premiered at the Cannes Film Festival and received a 7-minute standing ovation. But Johnny didn't smile too much. "I never left," he said. "I was just invisible." That line said it all. By the end of this chapter, Johnny Depp was no longer just a movie star. He had become something else. A painter of truth, a musician of sadness, a father who listened, a soul who chose silence over drama, a man who walked through fire and still carried his heart. The world had tried to break him, but he wasn't broken, just reshaped. Johnny Depp's life was a roller coaster, and by the mid-2010s, he was about to face the hardest ride yet. The glitter of Hollywood faded, and the shadows of personal battles grew darker. This chapter tells the story of how fame turned into a public fight. A fight for his name, his truth, and his soul. After the success of Pirates of the Caribbean, Johnny Depp was one of the world's most famous actors. He made millions, traveled the world, and lived a life many dreamed of. But fame has a price, and the cost was slowly becoming clear. His relationship with Amber Heard, which began with fire and passion, soon became filled with tension and chaos. Arguments turned violent, secrets spilled, and the media started to notice. In 2016, Amber Heard filed for divorce and accused Johnny of domestic abuse. Photos showed bruises on Amber's face, and headlines screamed accusations. The court and public opinion quickly turned against Johnny. "I never hurt her," Johnny said. "I would never hurt any woman." But no one wanted to listen. The accusations cost Johnny more than money. Roles disappeared. Friends stopped calling. Movie studios distanced themselves. His career was crumbling. For years, Johnny stayed silent. He refused to fight in public, hoping the truth would come out in time. But the silence was painful. "The world only heard one voice," he said, and that voice was hers. His silence was seen as guilt by many. His reputation became a joke on talk shows and social media. The man who had once walked red carpets with pride now walked alone. In 2020, Johnny finally spoke up. He filed a $50 million defamation lawsuit against Amber Heard. This was not about money. It was about clearing his name, protecting his children, and finding peace. Amber fought back with a $100 million countersuit. The legal battle became one of the most watched courtroom dramas in history. Live streams, social media clips, and news reports followed every day. For 6 weeks, Johnny sat in court, telling his story. He described the pain, the abuse he suffered, and the lies told about him. "I have never hit a woman in my life," he said softly. Audio recordings played in court revealed Amber's anger, insults, and claims that shocked the public. The world began to listen differently. Fans created art, songs, and hashtags supporting Johnny. Psychologists and lawyers gave opinions. Millions watched, hoping to see justice. On June 1st, 2022, the jury made their decision. Johnny Depp won. Amber Heard's claims were false and damaging. Johnny was awarded $10 million in damages, though he said he didn't want the money. "The truth is all I ever wanted," he said. The truth never perishes. For the first time in years, Johnny smiled quietly, peacefully. The trial was over, but Johnny's life was forever changed. Hollywood's doors remained partly closed. The fame felt different now. Quieter, more fragile. He didn't rush back. Instead, he chose peace. He moved far from Hollywood, buying a stone house in the French countryside. No paparazzi. No loud parties. Just quiet mornings, birdsong, and the smell of fresh bread. Johnny filled his days with painting and music. He painted faces of friends, heroes, and memories. His art became famous, but for him, it was a way to heal. He toured with his band, Hollywood Vampires, playing music that spoke of loss and hope. At home, he focused on his children, teaching them how to protect their hearts. Johnny Depp's story is not just about Hollywood or fame. It is a story of a man who faced his darkest battles with courage. "You can lose everything," he said, "but as long as you hold on to your truth, no one can destroy you." His story inspires millions who feel broken, betrayed, or silenced. After years of storms, pain, and public battles, Johnny Depp found himself standing at a new beginning. The fight for his truth was over. The world had seen his pain and heard his voice. But the question remained, what comes after the fall? What comes after the silence? This is the story of Johnny Depp's rise, not to fame, but to freedom and peace. Johnny left the bright lights of Hollywood behind and moved to a small village in the south of France. There, among quiet roads, green vineyards, and the scent of fresh bread from the local bakery, he found something he had never known before: peace. No flashing cameras, no loud crowds, just nature, silence, and time. He bought an old stone house surrounded by trees and hills. Every morning, he woke without an alarm, walked barefoot on the wooden floors, made coffee, and sat by the window watching the sunlight touch the leaves. "For the first time in years, my soul was quiet," he said. In this quiet, Johnny found a new way to express himself: painting. It wasn't a hobby. It was survival. He painted faces filled with emotion, friends, lost loved ones, heroes, and strangers who inspired him. Each brushstroke was a story. Each color was a feeling. His paintings shocked people. They were raw, honest, and full of soul. One collection sold out in hours and earned over $3 million. But for Johnny, it was never about money. "Painting saved me," he said. "It gave me peace when everything else tried to destroy me." Music had been Johnny's first love, and it stayed with him through everything. After years away from the spotlight, he rejoined his rock band Hollywood Vampires, touring Europe and playing on stage with legends like Alice Cooper and Joe Perry. But on stage, Johnny was not Captain Jack Sparrow or the Hollywood star. He was a boy with a guitar, playing the music that had kept him alive during the darkest nights. "Music is my breath," he said. "It reminds me who I am." Johnny returned to acting, but not in the big studio blockbusters. He chose small, meaningful projects, like the French film Jean de Barry, where he played King Louis XV. The film premiered at the Cannes Film Festival and received a standing ovation, but Johnny's smile was quiet and tired. "I never left," he said. "I was just invisible." He was back, but on his own terms, free from the Hollywood machine. More than anything, Johnny focused on his children, Lily Rose and Jack. He shared long talks about art, fame, and how to protect their hearts in a world full of noise. "My children are my greatest creation," he said, "more than any movie or role." He wanted to teach them kindness, strength, and how to be real. Johnny Depp's life was full of pain, betrayal, love, and survival. But through it all, he learned lessons that he shares with the world. Truth matters. Hold on to your truth, even when no one believes you. Kindness is strength. Being gentle doesn't mean being weak. Art heals. Find your way to express your soul. Family saves. Love those who love you back. Keep dreaming. Never stop walking your path, even when it's lonely. Today, Johnny Depp is more than an actor or musician. He is a symbol of courage, resilience, and freedom. Young artists say, "If Johnny can survive all that, then I can too." Fans say, "He taught me to fight for my truth, even when the world turns its back." Parents say, "He shows my child what it means to be strong without being cruel." Johnny Depp's story is not just his. It belongs to everyone who has ever been broken, silenced, or shamed. You can lose everything: your name, your work, your friends. But as long as you hold on to your truth, no one can destroy you. "I didn't just live," Johnny said. "I survived. I didn't just act. I felt. I didn't just speak. I screamed in silence." Johnny Depp's journey teaches us that even after the darkest storms, there is light. After the fall, there is the rise. His heart still beats strong. His art still shines. His story continues, and so can yours. Thank you for joining me on this incredible journey through Johnny Depp's life. His story is a reminder that no matter how hard life gets, no matter how many times you fall, you can always rise again. If you ever feel broken, misunderstood, or lost, remember Johnny's courage to hold on to his truth, to find peace in silence, and to keep creating even when the world turns its back. I hope this story inspired you to believe in yourself a little more today. Your dreams matter, your voice matters, and your story matters. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more real, powerful journeys that help you learn English and grow stronger, please like, share, and subscribe to our channel. Until next time, stay strong, stay kind, and never stop dreaming.